It's been a week of joy, celebration and remembrance in Papua New Guinea. Hi, na happy independence igolo orgeta people blob PNG. Thank you Lojoinen Pacific show. Nem belong me am Alice Lolohea and welcome to a special episode of the show this week as we join Papua New Guineans in marking 50 years as an independent nation. We've got plenty coming up for you. A look back at the week's festivities, what a new military treaty between Australia and PNG could mean for the country, and what the future holds for the Pacific's biggest and most diverse nation. We, like many others, have been watching Papua New Guinea's 50th festivities with a bit of envy, but mostly excitement and joy. And in the thick of it, it has been our reporter, Belinda Cora. Bells, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Alice.
Bells, we've seen some incredible pictures. Tell us what's actually taking place this week.
Yes, we've actually had, the week has already begun. We've had a week of festivities. Not only was the capital city here in Port Moresby swamped in red, black and gold, but we also had a lot of cultural performances, traditional performances on stage, in arenas around the capital city. And we also had world leaders arrive, air shows, and a whole lot more. And I think we'll just go to some of the highlights of this independence period to mark 50th anniversary independence in Papua New Guinea and see what we've actually had to see all throughout this week. A bit of glitz and glam to preface the independence celebrations. Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister, James Marape, hosting all his esteemed guests for a special dinner.
And so I want to ask from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you who are here tonight, don't give up on Papua New Guinea.
Then at dawn on September 16th, guests gathered once more.
The most diverse nation on earth, with over many tribes, over 1,000 tribes in fact, speaking over 800 languages. From many we became one people, one nation, one country.
Papua New Guinea's 50th independence celebrations began exactly as they started 50 years ago, raising the country's flag on Independence Hill in Port Moresby. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese reflected on that day, which saw the end of an Australian colony, but a continuation of friendship.
Prime Minister Marape gave a powerful and inspirational speech this morning, where he spoke about the fact that the Australian flag 50 years ago was lowered. It wasn't torn down. Australia was partners in what was an effective and peaceful transition.
To celebrate 50 years, Australia has gifted PNG an extension of their Parliament House. Other Pacific leaders and ministers were also in attendance, some from further reaches of the globe, including His Royal Highness Prince Edward, who spent the day at various engagements, before joining the rest of the country for the PNG 50 Spectacular.
Both His Majesty and all my family take a very great interest in the fortunes of this country. And we are very proud of what you have done in this country.
A dazzling display of culture and community. And of course, showmanship. But it wasn't just about spectacle. Trailblazers who helped pave the way for independence were also honored.
As they say in Motu, Ita, Raka, Hebao, or as they say in Pidgin, Yumi, walk about one time, or in English, let's walk together as we've walked the last 50 years.
So, Belle, some incredible stuff there. Tell us what it's been like for everyday people to celebrate 50 years of nationhood.
Oh, there was a sense of hope, there was a sense of pride, love, there was excitement in the air, traditional performances, there were family gatherings everywhere. It was a time of, meeting up with not only family but friends, and it was a time to also experience some moments here during our 50th anniversary that you may never get to experience, like an air show or a concert by an international artist, or even an orchid festivity and show that showcased orchids that you've never seen here in the capital, and they all came from the Highlands region. Alice, it's been a wonderful time of celebrations here in the capital and also in other parts of the country as well.
Well, there's certainly been a sense of FOMO on our half, missing out on everything. But has the sense been that the celebrations have been successful?
Yes, the word successful comes at a very high price for us here in Port Moresby. It's also ensuring that after these festivities, you are able to go home safely. And I should say, attending most of these events in Port Moresby, security was on par with expectations. I've never seen more police officers and security personnel all throughout the city, ensuring that families were going home safely, ensuring that our females were taken to a place where they felt safe and we can be taken care of, especially during night times. And I should say this enabled a lot of families to actually enjoy these festivities and celebrations. And of course, most turned up for all these events, even if it went up to 10 p.m. or 12 p.m. in the evening. So it did show that most of these festivities were actually successful, and police reported no major incidents that I know of till today.
That's incredible. Well, Papua New Guinea has certainly set the standard, I think, for these types of celebrations in the Pacific. And Bells, you broke the news here last week that the concert was going ahead. How did the performance with the American artist Akon go?
Alice, I should say I'm not a huge fan, but I definitely saw everyone on their toes last night. Even if you were not a huge fan and was here at the Sir John Guy Stadium last night, no one was on their seat. Everyone was standing. The performance was powerful, electric. It was actually amazing. A lot of young people were here, and they couldn't believe that they could be able to experience a huge stage like this and also see a performance by international artists like Akon. Akon definitely delivered to expectation, to a unique Papua New Guinea crowd, and I'm happy that everyone went home satisfied. And it's a story that will probably last for the next 50 years.
For sure. Well, he's certainly become one of the one talks now, eh?
Yes, certainly looks like some of us here.
Thanks so much, Bells. We'll check back with you shortly. Before we move on, amid the celebrations, another story has been developing in PNG. Australia has been left on the back foot for the second time in as many weeks after it failed to get a landmark defence treaty between itself and PNG over the line. The Puk Puk Treaty, so named after the pidgin word for crocodile, would have been historic, legally obliging the two countries to come to one another's military aid and allowing Papua New Guineans to join the Australian Defence Force. But despite Australia saying the treaty would be ratified on Wednesday,
in the next couple of days, the Prime Minister will be signing this agreement.
By Wednesday morning, PNG's Defence Minister didn't seem so sure.
Just wondering, is this treaty with Australia going to be signed today?
I have no idea.
It was soon apparent PNG's cabinet hadn't signed off on the deal, and the two leaders would sign a communique stating their intention to sign the treaty instead.
What this is about is the processes of their cabinet that we respect. It's been a busy week this week, but the wording has been agreed to. There is no downside in this whatsoever.
For his part, PNG Prime Minister James Marape has emphasised the delay as a matter of procedure.
There is no sticking point. The communique we signed establishes the core principles of the treaty that has been processed below the cabinet level. So, and then after cabinet gives its blessing, it goes to Parliament for the treaty to be ratified. We're not running a military dictatorship here. It's a democracy we're running.
The communique outlines the treaty's core principles that an armed attack on Australia or Papua New Guinea would be a danger to both countries, and to establish a recruitment pathway for Papua New Guinea citizens into the Australian Defence Force. It would also bar both countries from signing agreements with other countries that could compromise the treaty. The failure to sign on the dotted line has left Australia red-faced, less than 2 weeks after a high-level agreement with Vanuatu was scuppered at the last minute. But should it be ratified in the next couple of weeks, as now promised, experts say the deal could herald a new paradigm for Pacific security.
Notions of integrating our two countries' defence forces, they're unique to the region and potentially transformative. It would be the high watermark for Australia's security agreements with any Pacific country. We know that Fijian Prime Minister Rambuka has said that he wants one too, that he wants Fiji and Australia to sign a defence treaty. I think what it reflects is a new kind of security cooperation agreement that's fit for the current security environment that not only Australia but all Pacific countries are facing.
I spoke earlier with Jerry Singirok, a former commander of the PNG Defence Force. He says the deal may violate PNG's constitution and could undermine the country's sovereignty.
What Australia perceives as its enemy or threat is not necessarily the same as Papua New Guinea. And in this case, China. China is one of the trading partners of PNG. China is not an enemy to Papua New Guinea, so any speculations that China is an enemy or is potential enemy to PNG and with Australia is questionable. And this is how, if Australian interest is put first before PNG's interest, then we lose that sovereignty, we lose our credibility. We are absorbed into Australia's interests, and we're there for the interest of Australia.
Papua New Guineans aren't only celebrating their independence in the homeland. Here in Australia, the PNG Diaspora are also getting in on the action with festivals and activities right across the country. In Queensland, hundreds of people showed up and showed out to celebrate the homeland with a rich cultural parade of various provinces on display.
It's great to see everyone here from different backgrounds in PNG, because we have 800 plus different languages and 20 something different provinces, so yeah.
According to the last Australian census, around 17,000 Queenslanders say they were born in PNG, and the memory of home is still strong.
I was born here, but my parents and my siblings were born back home in PNG. It's just, it's just a wonderful celebration of our independence, just all of us coming together and celebrating it.
Amidst all the celebrations, there's also been plenty of reflection. The path to independence is never easy, and for Papua New Guinea, there were many unique challenges. Our reporter Hugo Hodge takes us through how the Pacific's biggest nation was born.
The story of Australia as a British colony is well told, but did you know Australia was itself a colonial ruler?
People who've lived through 5 colonial and military administrations are talking now of independence and its overlords in an unknown place called Canberra.
This is the history of Australia's segregated colony.
My people are not animals, they're human beings.
How it agitated for independence and how one man united a nation despite the odds. The country is often dubbed the land of the unexpected. It's home to incredibly diverse cultures and over 800 languages. Ancient humans were first thought to have arrived here 50 to 60,000 years ago. In more recent history, colonial powers divided and conquered, bringing with them an entirely new way of life. In 1884, the Germans took control of the northeast, calling it New Guinea. Britain responded by proclaiming the southern part as a British protectorate. By 1906, full control of this area was handed over to Australia. When World War I broke out, Australia quickly occupied the German-held side. After the war, Australia was given control over both territories.
There are the bombs.
World War II saw the Japanese invade, almost making it to Port Moresby. The Australians fought back, with help from the Papuans, and the Kokoda legend was born.
Japanese prisoners say the Australian jungle artillery has been a main cause of their defeats.
After the war, Australia took direct control of Papua New Guinea and a new political structure took shape.
The House of Assembly in Port Moresby.
Most of the Europeans get all the position and we want to get a few natives.
Life was difficult for people and there was a clear hierarchy.
In the high-priced European housing areas, signs tell the native where he stands. Itambu means keep out.
After I came back from Australia, I saw the signs, no natives and dogs allowed. And I said, who has the right?
Eventually, opposition to colonial rule grew stronger. And in Australia, attitudes were also changing. Prime Minister Gough Whitlam was elected on a platform of equality and ending racist policies.
The decision for independence is not only a decision about Papua New Guinea, it is about Australia. Australia is no longer willing to be the ruler of a colony.
Uniting Papua New Guinea's diverse population under one national identity was no easy challenge.
The outlook was canvassed among 1,000 Indigenous student teachers. 80% predicted serious tribal fighting after independence. 60% foresaw rule by dictator.
But one man had a vision to unite the nation.
I've always believed, and I believe in this principle, that the sooner the people of this country are responsible for their own affairs, the better it is for them.
There was only one figure that would lead the country.
He was energetic, charismatic, and his message was clear. It was time for PNG to pursue its own destiny.
He had a very big heart, so he could build bridges across the regions, and that's what he did.
Eventually, a date for independence was set.
It was a very emotional moment. We knew that the next morning, when the flag went up on Independence Hill, that we would be an independent state.
In a midnight radio address on Papua New Guinea's first day in existence, Samare spoke to the new nation.
We have been lucky because we have reached full nationhood without the fighting and bloodshed.
It's been almost anticlimactic. There's been no bloodbath, no national split, no coups, no immediate economic disaster. Its problems are still myriad. And over it all, Michael Samare's hold is tenuous. But that will be the nature of government in Papua New Guinea for a long time to come.
In the years that followed, PNG slowly established itself as a nation. Like the world over, colonisation has left an indelible mark on PNG. The nation has made big strides since independence, but poverty, gender-based violence and unemployment are challenges. In this milestone year, there's a shared sense of urgency for greater progress among the proud people of Papua New Guinea.
Now, as Hugo mentioned there, despite the successes, no one is in any doubt of the challenges ahead. Here's what Prime Minister James Marape said about some of them at the flag-raising ceremony.
Still have many pockets of poverty, many pockets of isolation, many pockets of Papua New Guineans unconnected with each other, whether in transport infrastructures or ICT. We have law and order issues that persist amongst us. Many young Papua New Guineans still remain jobless. Corruption robs us of resources meant for our people. And our economy is still not at the level to sustain a nation that is now over 10 million people.
Bells, we know there's still a way to go, but you caught up with some inspiring emerging leaders.
Yes, two of our very own, David Lawrence and Tabu Pele Warupi, two very young, vibrant, creative, and very vocal Papua New Guineans, especially amongst our younger population here in Port Moresby and also right throughout the country, trying in their own special way to make a difference and also being positive about the future as well. In Port Moresby, these young people are launching PNG's latest youth engagement strategy. And in a country where 60% of the population are under the age of 30, these young performers aren't holding back.
We are the untapped power in every province and district. Our voices echo in empty classrooms. We, the youths, silence not by our own hands, but by systems too rusted to care.
You call us idle, we call it abandoned.
These stark messages speak to the complexities of being a young person here as the country celebrates 50 years of independence.
We want the national youth strategy to be more than a paper.
So I won't be telling you 1, 2, 3 things.
David Lawrence has worked with youth for much of his career and is part of the agency charged with implementing the strategy. I caught up with him as the group rehearsed for the strategy's launch.
The majority of our young people live in rural areas. Basic services cannot be met. And a bigger challenge would be education, because 60% of our population is literate while the rest are illiterate. Positive and negative numbers, yes. Secondly is that the opportunities that we have in the urban areas are not equally distributed.
David says this is driving urban overpopulation, which the economy can't sustain.
Young people are now looking for not only employment, but basically food on the table.
We are the assets of Papua New Guinea, not a burden, but the solution.
Some of the things that hinder that progress, first and foremost, is systematic corruption that the government really needs to address.
But David says that doesn't mean young people should be pessimistic.
I believe that young people can be positive about the future, and I think there's not just one of me, but there's many of us whose stories are not yet being told, very often overshadowed by negativity.
When PNG celebrates 100 years of independence, what would you like the country to look like or be like?
I would rather see development not as high-rise skyscrapers and buildings, but it's more of the development of every Papua New Guinean.
In Boira village, I've come to meet someone who's managed to forge success.
Hi, Tabu, how are you? I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Inspired by her home village and culture, fashion and event designer Tabu Pele Warupi has become one of the country's most in-demand creatives. Tabu, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what do you do?
I am a fashion designer. The business is called Tabu Designs. I'm vain in that sense. I saw it as a way of preserving my culture in terms of, my personal experience. I have daughters who do not speak the mother tongue. And it was also my way of teaching my kids a different way of preserving our culture. A lot of my work is inspired by nature and just growing up in the village. This here is actually inspired by what we call a lagatoi. It was a sailing vessel used for the purpose of trade. I use this piece a lot. It's inspired by the lagatoi for major events.
What do you think the government should do to try to do more in supporting businesses like yours here in the country?
Funding, training, just creating spaces for local talents to really shine.
PNG is marking 50 years of independence. What does this anniversary mean to you?
We've got so much to be proud of as a Papua New Guinean. We've got over 800 different cultures, and we're one country in the whole of the world that can boast that.
Are you positive about the future?
I am extremely positive. I think I can personally, make a little change in the area that I'm in, and I'm hoping that that can inspire, others after me to kind of take from that and move forward.
And though this week is all about PNG, we can't forget that there are some important milestones happening elsewhere in the region this week too. In Samoa, Australia-PNG Polata Ivafosi Schmidt has vowed to unify the country in his first speech after officially becoming its new Prime Minister. In a marathon, almost 6-hour ceremony, La'auli, wearing a prayer shawl and a cross, spoke about leading the country into a new chapter.
For the last 9 months, we sailed through some of the troubles and uncertain times, but we as a country remain resilient.
Despite a long and often bitter political battle with the country's former Prime Minister, Fiame Naomi Mataafa, La'auli paid tribute to her before turning to his first priorities in office.
The government's most pressing needs is to prepare a budget to carry the country through the next 9 months.
The emergency budget will pay public servants' salaries and overdue overtime pay, frozen during the campaign, as well as begin to deliver La'auli'ale-Maliatoa's many campaign promises. And in a decision that's been met with controversy, La'auli confirmed he would be the country's new police minister, despite facing a string of serious criminal charges, including attempting to pervert the course of justice. Responding to a string of questions on this decision, the new Prime Minister said he maintained his innocence, but confirmed he would respect the court's process.
But take it from me today, the court will take its course.
That's all for this week. Thank you for joining us to celebrate PNG's independence. For more ABC Pacific stories, go to the ABC Pacific webpage. Now, to see us off, here's some of Akon playing to a massive crowd in Port Moresby earlier this week.
I said, PNG, are you ready to party tonight?